Continued efforts to protect Michigan residents during the pandemic are crucial at this time. And joining me tonight to talk more about what's being done on a federal level are U.S. Senators Debbie Stabenow and Gary Peters. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Great to be with you.
Well, as we wait for word any moment really about emergency permission to use the Pfizer vaccine, Senator Peters, let's begin with you this evening. We know your Homeland Security Committee's been working on a vaccine distribution plan, so can you tell us about it and what we can expect in the coming days?
Well, as you mentioned, the plan's going to happen very quickly, and it's incredibly complicated because of this vaccine. As you mentioned, it has to be kept at very low temperatures. You have to be very careful to maintain that. Once it's opened up, there's a limited shelf life, and when you think about how important it is to maximize that vaccine, you want to make sure that people are basically lined up so that we don't waste any of that. Getting it across the country, and particularly in rural areas, is going to be challenging. We just had a hearing this week. We had folks from UPS, FedEx talking about their operations nationwide to move this product as efficiently as possible. I think we should all take a source of pride, though, as Michiganders, that this is being made in Kalamazoo, Michigan. This is made here locally, so that should make it easier for us to get it here locally, but then we've got to get it out across the country. And that's why we also need to have additional resources. This is not a cheap endeavor. That's why Debbie and I are working right now for a COVID relief package that will provide more resources that we need to make sure this vaccine gets out as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, and thank you, Senator Peters, and an incredible source of pride, as you said. Senator Stabenow, you've been very vocal about the great need for Congress to pass a survival package for families in Michigan. How is that being received?
Well, Glenda, this is critically important, and I don't think Congress should end the session this month until this gets done. People need help. We originally came together last spring in the CARES Act. Actually, 3 different times Congress came together in a bipartisan way, and then that all stopped. And the Senate Majority Leader and a number of folks in the Senate said no more needed to be done. The good news is we have a bipartisan effort that has come together, many of us working hard every day. We have agreed on a short-term package to go through the end of March that would continue help for small businesses, some extra help for our restaurants, our theaters, other venues that have had to shut down completely. We would extend unemployment insurance with an additional $300 a week. That's the agreement that we have right now. And you know, the day after Christmas, for people that are self-employed or contract workers, gig workers, all the help that they have been receiving through the federal efforts will end the day after Christmas, which is outrageous. So we have to continue that. I've been able to get bipartisan agreement on additional food help. We have a hunger crisis going on right now in our state, in the country. More help so people don't lose their homes, additional help for schools, local units of government, as well as the state, as they're doing all the things you're talking about in terms of distribution. So all of the things that we put in place last spring end the end of this month. And it's ridiculous because the pandemic has not ended. And we have literally thousands and thousands and thousands of people in Michigan that are barely holding on, going into the winter months, may lose their home, can't keep the heat on or food, that trying to struggle to hold on to their business. And it's not right. And there's no reason for it. We're the United States of America. There is absolutely no reason that we can't come together in the middle of a once in a lifetime health pandemic and help the people of our state and our country, period. There's no reason not to do that. So I'm hopeful. We do have a great group that's working together, but we have had resistance from the Senate Majority Leader so far. We're hopeful that he will decide to stand down and allow this to go forward because it's critical. It's absolutely critical to get this done. People are hurting, and we need to respond.
And Senator Stabenow, you mentioned you're in Washington right now, hard at work, awaiting word on this vaccine.
Yes, well, we are, and I'm so glad that Senator Peters is where he is on Homeland Security with the distribution issues and so on, which, by the way, take dollars. In this package that we have, We have to provide dollars to the states and local communities if they're going to be able to do the distribution. You know, you can't just have the vaccine and not be able to get it out to people. The federal government, by the way, is purchasing the vaccines that will be available at no cost to people, which is very important. But we are in a national moment where we need to act. We're not going to be able to reopen our schools or the economy if we can't get this under control. Good news is the vaccines are starting. The challenge is it's going to take months before it's distributed to everyone. And in the meantime, people have to survive. We'll come out the other end of it. You know, we in Michigan, we're tough, we're strong, but people need help right now. And there is no reason not to give them that help. They didn't cause any of this. So what we're working on is to basically have people's backs and get them the help that they need and deserve.
And Senator Peters, one final word from you about where we're headed in 2021 and the light, if possible, at the end of this tunnel.
Well, there is. I think that's the encouraging thing. It's very exciting to have this, hopefully, approval very shortly for Pfizer. There are other companies that are also either about ready to get approval for their vaccine, several others that will likely come online over the next few months. So we need to celebrate that. It's coming, but it is light at an end of a tunnel. I think it's very important for us to step back and realize we're still in a pretty dark period right now. These next 2 or 3 months are going to be incredibly challenging. You can't get the vaccine out that quick. You have to make it. It's complex. You got the logistics. So that means we all have to do our part. We have to wear a mask. We have to maintain social distancing. We have to wash our hands. We can't congregate. This is, we're all tired of it. I'm tired of doing this, but I know that we have to do it to save lives, to make sure that we don't push our hospitals to overcapacity. And all of them are very near capacity right now. It's a really critical stage for our local hospitals here in the Detroit area. So we have to do our individual part. But I think it's a little easier to do your individual part when you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's there. But we really need to do everything we can over these next 2 or 3 months.
Thank you, Senator Gary Peters, and even for that bit of hope. To even say that feels all right. And Senator Debbie Stabenow, we appreciate you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Alan.
Please stay safe.
Thank you. You too.